Before we get into this video, I want to give a huge thank you to all of my channel members listed on screen now. Thank you for your continued support on the channel each and every single day. And well, if this video does end up helping you out, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe and turn your notifications on. Now, Gran Turismo 7 really needed a hero car. Now, I think we all know that update 1.55 or the January 2025 update came around and basically undid a lot of the broken PP ratings in game. So things like the Suzuki Escudo Pikes Peak were kind of no more. Now, thankfully, only an update later with update 1.56, a certain engine swapped Subaru would come along and basically reignite the broken build genre once again. Of course, I'm talking about the Subaru Impreza Coupe WRX Type R STI version 6 from 1999. What a mouthful that was. But before we get into the tune and the build, there is a bit of a checklist here for this one. So the requirements are as follows. The reason I'm doing this is that you don't waste any more time on this video if you cannot yet recreate this build. If you can't, feel free to like it and come back at a later date. I doubt this will be patched anytime soon. So you'll need to be either level 50 or have insane RNG luck on the roulette wheel and have a spare EJ20 Rally Swap engine available to you. You will have to own the Subaru Impreza Coupe STI version 6 and have the WTC 600 Tokyo Expressway 12 lap race unlocked and have around about 600 to 700k spare for the car, the parts and the swap. Let's get into the tuning then and get into this build. So first of all, I want to give a huge thank you to the livery creator for the livery that I'm using in this video. This is the Nürburgring Challenge Impreza and I think this looks absolutely stunning. It will also provide you pretty much every single aero part and wheel part you will need for this build, minus the rear wing, which I have changed to allow customizable downforce. Now, in terms of modifications, the first thing you're going to need is the wide body modification. You'll also need the engine swap, which is the EJ20 from the Impreza Rally car, new for update 1.56. Moving into the individual parts, I'm running the BBS RE V7s here, and in terms of the diameters, width and offset, I'm going to run mine at 17 inches. You can run 18, it's completely up to you. The width is wide and the offset once again is wide. In terms of the aero parts at the front, it's a Type A front bumper. The sides once again is going to be a Type A and the rear is going to be a standard parts. As for the rear wing, I'm running a custom wing set, which is a high and an end plate of Type 6. We're also running the roll cage Type C modification here. And that is everything for the body and aero. Let's move into the tuning sheet then. So we're going to be running the Sports Hard compound of tyre here. The suspension is fully customizable. Now, in terms of the body height, this is where things are going to be changed a little bit. I run quite high body height just to ensure that the wheels don't catch on the arches. So 120 front, 125 rear. Anti-roll bar, I have mine set at 5 and 5. Moving on to compression, I have it set to 35 at the front and 40 at the rear. Now, expansion, I'm actually going to change here. It's completely up to you. You can either run 35 or 45. Both of these are a pretty comfortable setting for me. In terms of the rear of the expansion, it's going to be set at a maximum, which is 50. The next suspension setting is going to be natural frequency. Now, in terms of this, I have my front set at 2.90 and my rear at 3.25. Negative camber angle I have reduced to 2 at the front and 2.5 rear. Toe angle 0.05 outwards at the front and 0.10 inwards at the rear. Differential fully customizable. I have my torque set at 40 and 45. Acceleration is 30 across. Braking is 10 front and 20 rear. Torque vector in center diff, I set mine around about 40 to 60. I have the fully customizable racing transmission. I then set it to 430 so that it covers the entirety of this graph. Then onto ballast, completely non-existent, the same with power restrictor. We then have the fully customizable ECU, once again unrestricted. The downforce at the front is 100 and 240 at the rear. Now, in terms of the rest of the build, we have the high RPM turbocharger, anti-lag system set to strong to keep it spooling up. Brake system racing is slotted discs and racing pads. Brake controller is installed. I typically run mine at a rear, which is going to be at 2. Then if we head over here, we have the clutch and flywheel as racing, propeller shaft is carbon, and all of the weight reduction stage 1 to 3. And then finally, increased body rigidity. That completes the tune. Next up is the setup for the event. We're going to talk difficulty and the event itself. So as for the race difficulty, you can find this in the options menu. I fully recommend leaving it on the hardest difficulty. This way you are not going to be lapping the AI as much, and they won't be such a roadblock. If you set it on easy, you're going to be lapping them a lot, and they're probably just going to get in the way and help you produce some incredibly slow laps. So I fully recommend put the game on the hardest difficulty. Don't worry too much, it's still going to be super easy to win this. As for the event, you're going to head over into Asia. So once you've headed in there, head over to Japan and Tokyo Expressway. Now the event you're looking for is the WTC 600 with the maximum reward of 550k. Again, you can get the plus 50% clean race bonus here very, very easily. So go ahead and enter this event. Next up is going to be the build explained. During this segment, I'm going to explain to you some of the strengths and weaknesses of the car whilst it's built the way it is. So the Impreza that we're seeing here, of course, it's running the EJ20 engine. This is from the Impreza Rally car, which was previously one of the best 700 pp cars in the entirety of Gran Turismo 7, and now since update 1.56 we can go ahead and have that as a swappable engine swap. Now that motor is swappable into both the 22B and the coupe that you're seeing here, and I fully recommend going for the latter. The main reason is its PP rating seems to drop a lot more, making it highly more customizable and a lot more tunable. So the great thing about this motor swap is that it's extremely powerful, going upwards of 800 brake horsepower with just a high RPM turbocharger. It's also extremely fuel efficient, again carrying over that Group B rally fuel efficiency. The engine itself, well, it's capable of propelling this car upwards of 220 miles per hour. Couple that with wall riding and you can get yourself a sub 24-minute run here. In the end, you end up with one of the most broken and best 600 pp cars in the entirety of GT7 now. Next up is the warnings. This is what not to do and what to do. The first what not to do is going to be hitting the AI. Do not hit the AI, it will invalidate that clean race bonus, so just be very, very careful. Thankfully, you'll be P1 by the end of turn 1, so then just be careful when you're lapping. Wall riding here is allowed and it will not invalidate your clean race bonus, so feel free to use it to your advantage. The next part of what not to do is run over this white line at the back of the final hairpin or touch the cones. Again, it will completely invalidate that clean race bonus. Apart from that, you should be all good to get that clean race bonus and the extra 50%. Moving on then to strategy. Let's take you for a run using this Impreza. So here we go, this is right at the beginning of the event. Keep your car in fuel mix 1 if you want to. Feel free to catch a bit of a slip off some of these cars, but you'll always end up P1 by that first corner. So just work your way through the grid. Again, try not to touch any of the cars on the way through. The main one you really have to watch out for is this Mazda here, or the Amemia. That thing does tend to kind of drift over to the left hand side. Keep yourself to the left. Once you're in P1, drop the engine mix to fuel mix 6 and then go ahead and ride the first corner. Again, conditions are tricky here, and again, you won't lose that clean race bonus. After that, you're just going to finish the lap as normal, keeping the car in fuel mix 6. Just be aware that on these opening few laps, it's what I like to call the survival stage. It's going to be in damp conditions and the car's going to be a little bit sketchy, so be sure to brake early and keep the car under control as much as possible. And again, just being ultra cautious of that final hairpin so that you don't overdo it, end up over the line and into the cones and completely invalidate that clean race bonus. Anyway, when you're back on the straight, turn the fuel mix back to 1, hit up the main straight 220 miles an hour plus and turn the engine back down as you get towards the end. Now once you get to lap 4, you're basically going to be in full dry conditions here. It's going to be much quicker overall, and the car's going to start adjusting to the dry conditions. It's also going to improve your lap time by a massive amount. As you can see here, by the end of lap 4, I'm in the 156.5 range. So I fully recommend just completely rinse and repeat that strategy until around about lap 6 or lap 7. This is when you're going to start hitting traffic, and at this point I fully recommend just keep the car in fuel mix 6, reserve as much fuel as possible, and just take your time lapping the vehicles. Again, you are trying your best not to hit them, and they won't always move for the blue flags, so just be careful with them. Now as mentioned, this will start around about lap 6 to lap 7, and it will probably come to an end around about lap 9 to lap 10. Again, it just kind of depends how the AI is running, where they're pitting in and such like that. So just be careful with them, do not hit them, and just take your time. You're not going to lose too much time by just hanging back and letting them get around the corner before you then go for the overtake. You are going to be much quicker than them anyway. Now in terms of the rest of the run, you can go ahead and just do a bit of lifting and coasting to ensure that you've got enough fuel to get to the line. So after lapping the AI, you just want to worry more about your fuel economy. Anyway, at the end of 12 laps, you're going to be done and dusted here with probably a very nice easy first place. And my total time, even with a pretty relaxed run and definitely not the best overall, was a 23 minutes 53 seconds 0.616. Our fastest lap was on lap 5 with a 1 minute 56.301, so sub 2 minute lap times here. As for the payout, well, most of you will probably know this anyway, it's 825k every single 24 minutes or so. Massive thank you for watching this video, and once again a huge thank you to all of my channel members. If you do want to join, it is hugely appreciated and does help the channel out between uploads. And again, if this method helps you out, let me know in the comment section down below, or if you have your own build, feel free to put it in the comments. Anyway, I will see you in the next one. Take care guys, peace.